Do you feel like you're drowning in your to-do list? Like no matter what, no matter how hard you try, you're just always feeling behind and wishing that you had more time in the day? Hi, I'm Tally, and on this channel I help people who are feeling stuck build confidence and self-esteem with simple, no-frills, practical ideas. In this video, I'm going to be sharing 7 strategies for how to stop feeling overwhelmed right now if you're feeling overwhelmed, and generally how to manage your stress. I can speak to this because I've struggled with this too. I still struggle with this. Back when I worked in corporate America as a project manager, I would have, really big, complex projects that always felt like they were on fire. There was always something added, something being changed, something being thrown into the mix. Go, 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 right? And even now, as I'm picking up this YouTube channel and I'm starting a business, the amount of things to do never ends. So this is something that I've struggled with before, and I know that it's something that I'll have to, always work on in the future. But there are 7 things that I've picked up kind of over the course of the years that have really helped me personally that I'm sharing with you today because I'm hoping that they'll help you if you find yourself, being an achiever or taking on a lot or just, feeling like there's too much on your plate and you can't catch up. We often in this society focus too much on productivity and on time management and not enough on stress management. Time management will only get you so far, right? There's only so much you can do to manage your time. If you learn to perfectly optimize all 24 hours of your day or 16 hours of your day, if you don't know how to manage your emotions, if you get stressed, if you get overwhelmed, you start burning out, you have to take a big break because you burned yourself out doing too much, then time management isn't getting you anywhere. Like, time management is useless if you're burned out, right? Or even if you don't burn out, if you're just grinding yourself to the bone every day, but you're not allowing yourself time to recover, then eventually your ability to focus, your energy level, the quality of your work will decline because you're not able to manage your emotions. So really important to learn how to stay present and grounded and get some perspective. Really, at the end of the day, stress management is about accepting that there will always be things left on your to-do list and learning to be okay with that. So without any further ado, let's get into the 7 ways that you can manage your stress right now. Pick 1 or 2 of these to focus on. Once you feel like you've kind of mastered those, come back, try 1 or 2 more strategies. Don't try to do everything all at once. That's kind of the point of this video, right? Okay, so strategy number 1 for how to stop feeling overwhelmed right now: stop scrolling. Put your phone away, put your computer away, put YouTube away, finish the video, but put YouTube away. Stop scrolling. A lot of times when we feel like we want to take a break, we end up doing what? Reaching for our phones or scrolling our emails or opening a bunch of different apps. And that might feel good because, you feel like you're maybe recharging or you're distracting yourself, but really you're not recovering. So when you're stressed, you have a lot of you're being reactive to things, right? You have external stresses, things that you have to do, things that you have to finish, things that you're trying to respond to. So when you reach for your phone and you start scrolling, you're letting, Facebook, Instagram, all those different apps, or email, whoever, Slack, you're letting those apps in your phone dictate your pace. So you're not actually regaining any sense of control. The point of stress management is to kind of step away and be able to get grounded and get some perspective so that you can think more clearly. And you just can't do that while you're scrolling on your phone. So I would say one of the biggest things that you can do to manage your stress is to lower how much stimulus you have. Just put away your phone. Stop scrolling. When you give yourself a break, give yourself a proper break. That leads me to strategy number 2, which is take a break to slow down. When we're stress managing, it's really important not to try to do more, but rather slow our own pace down. And that means, I'll give some more examples in a second, but that means you're regaining control of your emotions by setting the pace for your mind and for your soul, your heart, however you want to call it. But you're regaining control by setting the pace, rather than being reactive to all these things that are outside of you. Set aside 10 minutes, set a timer if you need to, but then put away that phone and just take a slow break with the intention of slowing down, of taking some deep breaths, of slowing that heart rate down. And some things that you can do: go for a walk, pull up a 5 or 10 minute YouTube video about desk yoga or some gentle stretches that you can do. Or go find a corner of your building that's doesn't have as many people in it so that you can just sit with your thoughts undistracted. Do a meditation if you're into meditation or if you're willing to give it a try. One app I really like is Insight Timer. Insight Timer has a huge database of free meditations of all sorts of durations that you can filter on. I really recommend it. It might look like walking very, very slowly around your block. That's something that I like to do, is I walk as slowly as I physically can, because normally I'm a very fast walker, but when I need to regain control of my emotions and stop feeling overwhelmed, I walk as slowly as I can. But it really, really helps to just slow down, regain control of your breath, and then you start looking around a little bit more and getting some perspective and getting some clarity. And that's what stress management is about, right? The third suggestion I have to stop feeling overwhelmed is to do a brain dump. This has been one of my favorites lately. Sometimes you feel like you have all these things swirling around in your mind and you're just putting on all this effort just to keep track of everything, right? It's just all this mental effort of making sure that you don't forget. I think that's one thing that really stresses me out, is just worrying that I'm going to forget something important. And eventually, if you have enough of those things flying around, then it gets really overwhelming up in here, even if there's no external forces stressing you out. So in this case, I would really recommend doing a brain dump. So get a piece of paper and a clipboard and a pen, or bring out a journal or a notebook, or just pull up a blank Word doc on your computer. Make a list of the things that you're worried about, the things that your to-do list that's stressing you out, your personal or your big or small things, your personal or work things, and everything that you're trying to track, dump it all on this piece of paper. It's not going to feel like as much as it probably felt when it was just swirling around in your brain. Writing things down when you can see your list, it becomes so much more manageable when it's just a bunch of abstract things that you're keeping track of in your head. It really helps you kind of regain that sense of control. Plus, then you can kind of compare things on your list. That thing that's been nagging away at you for the last few weeks, maybe you see it next to, a larger, more important priority item, and you go, oh, shoot, well, that's okay. I don't need to worry about this one quite as much. Kind of helps you prioritize and get some perspective. Which brings me to number 4, which pairs really nicely. If I do say so myself, I would pair this suggestion with the previous one of a brain dump. And this suggestion, number 4, is prioritize your top 3 things for the day. I know when I'm feeling overwhelmed, everything feels urgent, right? Everything kind of has this burning sense of like, oh, this is important, this is important. The truth is, even if everything feels important, we are limited on how much time we have, so we have to prioritize. So figure out your top 3 priorities for the day, and if that's too much, figure out your top 2 or top 1, and then everything else, either push out the date that you're giving yourself to complete it by, take it off your plate entirely, or ask for help. Ask for, someone to help you delegate. Pushing out might mean, setting yourself a reminder for a few days from now to do this thing, or writing it in your calendar to follow up on this other lower priority item, or just giving yourself, I'm okay if I don't touch this for another 2 months. Asking for help might be help from your partner, your family, your friends, your manager, your coworkers. Ask for help. Let people know when you need support. Maybe that day you don't cook dinner, maybe you order takeout, or you ask your partner to cook. Maybe you spend that extra $10 to have groceries delivered to you. At work, this might look like maybe asking for an extension on some admin or lower priority tasks. Maybe your manager can get another person to help you part-time with your responsibilities. It might also look like having to say no to some meetings that you're maybe not essential to. So really, as much as you can, once you've got your top 3 priorities, push things out, push out the deadline, take them off your plate if you can, and then ask for help. 5th strategy for how to stop feeling overwhelmed: keep a done list. A DONE, done list. I know you probably already keep a to-do list, which is great. Try to keep a done list. This is an idea I've implemented over the last few months. I got it from Brendan Burchard, who is a big personal development dude. If you feel like you just can't get a handle on your to-do list and you're always playing catch-up, keep a list throughout your day of the things that you have done, or even throughout the week of the things that you have done. So, get out a notebook and then just write done list, and then as you accomplish tasks, whether they're big or small, whether they're planned or unexpected, just write them down. And that'll help you actually see what you've accomplished. And I know that might sound a little redundant, and maybe sometimes it feels like it, but it's a few extra minutes in the day tops, and the two are different. Because think about when you have your to-do list. When you look at your to-do list, maybe you have 10 items on there, and 6 of them are crossed off and you have 4 remaining. If you look at your to-do list, what are the first things that you look at? You look at the things that are remaining, right? You're not looking at the things that you've accomplished. So your to-do list is tracking the things that you've done, but the focus is on what's remaining. And that could be what is causing so much stress because you are always feeling behind. When you keep a done list, the focus is not about what's remaining, it's about what you've already accomplished. So that kind of gives you this sense of confidence of like, oh, you know what? I did do these things today, and maybe some of them were unplanned and maybe some of them were small, but I did do things today. It kind of brings you back that confidence and gives you that sense of control. Strategy number 6 for how to stop feeling overwhelmed right now. Adjust your expectations. You are not a robot. You are limited by your time and your energy. So robot doesn't need to sleep, doesn't need to eat, doesn't need to rest. It can just work for however long it needs to. And as long as it's plugged into power, it's good to go. You're a person, your resources are finite. That doesn't make you a bad person. That's just being realistic about your capacity. We do not have unlimited time and energy. We need to sleep, we need to recover, but we also need time to rest and recharge. And rest isn't just sleeping. Rest is like letting your mind, being conscious, but kind of letting your mind process things while you do other things, whether that's, doing your day-to-day activities or reading a book or watching TV or whatever. Your brain needs that time to rest and recharge and recover and process the things. That's really important for your brain to be able to process what happened. If you're consistently not finishing your to-do list and that's stressing you out, maybe you're just expecting too much from yourself. Maybe if you go from 5 things a day to, 1 or 2. And that might feel like you're doing less, but in reality, you're just preventing yourself from burning out. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. There's not really any use to trying to do too much and then become demoralized by the fact that you can't do it and then having less energy the next day to do everything else. And then you kind of get demoralized, you get burned out. Adjust your expectations. It might feel at first like you're doing less, but in the long run, you're just setting yourself up to be more consistent over time and to chip away at your goals rather than to do a bunch of things on one day and then be completely fried the next day and not be able to, get back into it. And finally, strategy number 7, how to stop feeling overwhelmed right now. If you really feel like there's way too much and you're so paralyzed that you don't even know where to start, do the smallest possible thing from your list, and then don't do anything else. Shh, don't tell anyone. Get the lowest hanging fruit and do that thing today, and then don't worry about it for the rest of the day. When I say small, I mean small. I mean text back your friend who you haven't replied to in 4 days that your message is unread, or reply to that email from your landlord, or it might just be making your bed or doing the dishes. Just do the smallest possible thing. You don't have to do everything at once. That's the point of this video, is to tell you that you don't have to do everything. You don't have to do everything at once. And if you try to, if you're in this mentality that, oh, if I have to do anything, I have to do everything, then you're gonna keep finding yourself burned out. You're gonna keep finding yourself low on energy and stressed and overwhelmed. Adjust your expectations and do one little thing so that you can get that small win. Don't try to bite off more than you can chew. You're much better off doing a little bit every day. Even if it's the smallest little thing, at least you have that small win, and then it kind of changes your mindset a little bit, because now instead of, oh, I don't know where to start anywhere, it's too overwhelming, now it's like, okay, it's really overwhelming, but at least I did the one little thing, right? Like, that's better. That's already improvement. And if you can get that, then eventually you can start getting a little bit more momentum. Do that one small thing, then come back and do one small thing tomorrow. Just take it one day at a time. Okay. I hope those tips have helped. Let me know which 1 or 2 you're going to start off with. Remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Choose 1 or 2 that you're going to start off with. Try them for a few weeks. Come back to this video if you want to pick up a few more. Let me know which one or two you're going to start off with, and any questions that you might have, I will do my best to answer them. If you like this video, if you're still watching the end of this video, woohoo! Thanks for hanging in there with me. Hit that like button for me, and if you like this kind of content about confidence, self-esteem, personal development, hit that subscribe button. I always try to point to the subscribe button and then forget where it is, so hit that subscribe button for me, please, if you want more content on personal development, self-esteem, and confidence. And remember, stress management is about accepting that you will always have more to do and learning to be okay with it despite it. You got this.